Hey, look at this. I got the Uncle Buck hat on, and I didn't want to lose my bandana. Okay? So, I came on for a couple reasons. I gotta pull in a little bit closer here. I have the House of Commons on. Okay? I got the volume so I don't have to listen to these fucks. Especially Kevin Lamar. Okay? So, I came on for two things, okay? What were those two things? Oh, yes. The post that Michelle Ferrari shared from the National Post, the man who murdered girlfriend gets reduced sentence partly due to his race. So you can get off depending on your race. The only people that can't get off are white fucks. And I know this. This is how they're making everyone fucking homeless, guys. Because on their fucking government forms, they ask you if you're a minority, but right now the only minority is the white fucks and the indigenous fucks. Okay? All these years. Have you guys... I don't see a lot of indigenous out there on TV or out there doing really nothing, right? And not saying that you're not doing nothing, but in politics, in everything, they still continue to shut you up. I'm a little shiny there. I put Vicks up my nose. Okay? I don't snort, guys. So I want to talk about this. And I want to read Giggly Gary. Giggly Gary, okay? Our public safety minister. I did a video yesterday on Giggly fucking Gary, who writes letters to fucking terrorists, okay? And it's got a few shares. It would be nice if there was more shares, but, I got the shares I can fucking get. But I want to read the feeds on Giggly Gary, our public safety minister, who yesterday, I got 8 shares on Giggly Gary. Oh, Giggly Gary, that's why I'm getting a lot of comments, bitches. Okay, Giggly Gary's getting some traction. See, Giggly Gary, I did a YouTube video, and it's called, Gary Writes Letters to Terrorists. I even climbed a fucking tree for a skit. Okay? Check that out. Gary Writes Letters to Terrorists. It was a year ago, okay? Like I say, pick up the pace. Come on. Come on, guys, pick up the pace, okay? Before I did that fucking live, because I'm sitting there 10 minutes watching Giggly Gary and thought, I gotta fucking get this. So I got it, and there's 20 comments, and I'm going to fucking read them. But before I read those comments, in case I forget, I've opened up my other fucking browser. I haven't heard from anybody, okay, before I get into what I want to talk about, because people of domestic violence, I've worked with those kids. And the repercussions of kids experiencing fucking domestic abuse. Because I never worked with a kid that had a good fucking story, right? They were either fucking molested, or they were fucking treated like animals, not fed, and fucking got the shit pounded out of them. You know what I mean? And that includes women in these relationships, you fucking idiots. So, I guess before I get on to Giggly Gary, I feel like I was going to say something else. So, first off, this woman got murdered, but the guy got off partly because of his fucking race. That's your liberal fucking... What is that? Oh, the feminist party, right? That's real feminist, isn't it, you fucking idiots? Oh, what's up? I'm gonna tell you a story. Some of the kids that I worked with, sometimes their parents put them into care because they couldn't manage their kids. And they were falling through the cracks. Because kids are out of control and parents have no control. And parents, if you haven't fucking noticed, you're really losing your rights, right? So, some parents, not a lot, but a few parents put their kids in. But some of these kids came in, and a lot of them, low-life parents, right? Waste of fucking skin, right? How could you do that to your kid? Whatever it was, you didn't meet their needs, right? You failed them. That's why a stranger's watching them. So, I met a lot of rough parents in my fucking day. Kids are in care for a reason. Just, the dog's so quiet, I thought I'd check to make sure he wasn't fucking outside. So, I take a kid to a CAS meeting, or a visit. Kids might have saw their parents once a week, bi-weekly. Some were supervised right at the CAS. And again, I worked with different agencies outside of Peterborough. Most of the agencies I worked with were outside of the Peterborough area. You often got kids outside of their hometown so they wouldn't run back to the family, right? So that makes sense. So I would take some of these kids out of town and for a visit. And some of the parents, I mean, look like they fucking, white shirt, look like they fucking didn't have a bath in 2 weeks, right? That was a lot of the parents, right? They're up on charges, whatever. But you gotta think about the flip side of domestic abuse. When women can't leave their abusers. Have you ever known a woman that couldn't leave her abuser? So, one time I had this kid, and I still to this day, I don't have favorites, because I liked all the kids and I understood them all, but this was back when the group home was innocent. We didn't have kids up on charges, and I had this one kid in there, and I would take him to his visit. The one time I couldn't take him, and this was when I was supervising, so my boss took the child to the visit. And she hadn't met the mother of this kid. And we adored this one kid. We adored him. And so my boss said, I've never met this mother. And I said, I feel sorry for her. She is a victim. And my boss said, her child's in care. She's not a victim. And I said, but she is. You wait till you meet her. I said, you can see the tortured soul on that woman's face. And how she realizes she has failed all of her kids. Or the system did, right? She had quite a few kids. And they all experienced sexual assault from the dad and the siblings. So, when I first met this mother, my heart went out to her. There's not many parents that my heart went out to. But you just knew with this mother, And she didn't know what was going on at first, too, right? So, she didn't know that. But she also got abused, right? So, anyways, my boss comes back after taking the child to the supervised visit. And, she said to me, "You were right. That mother is a total victim. She is a lovely woman, isn't she?" And I said, "She sure is, isn't she?" That's your effects of when a woman can't get any justice and get away from her abuser. There's an epidemic in Canada. Women are getting abused and there's no justice. Men get abused too, right? You got a fucking woman out there fucking mental case fucking abusing men too, right? Women need to be locked up just as much as fucking men if they get fucking handsy. When a child has to sit in trauma at home all day and then go to your school and have to sit in the violence at school. I showed you a video that was shared by Michelle Ferrari, Anwar Knight. I remembered his name as soon as I saw his name and I saw his face, because he used to be on CTV News, but it looks like he's doing his own thing possibly. And there's a bunch of school boards he's covering. And the one that I shared to you talked about a mother that had to pull her kid, 6 years old, getting attacked by the other kids, and quite a bit older. There's big age difference when you're in elementary school, 6-year-old to a grade 3. The child was worried about their teacher. Well, you know, a kid at 6 years old, they're all about the adult. So a 6-year-old watching an adult who they know is supposed to be their protector get the shit kicked out of them. Nobody's thinking about the traumatic effects of the innocent kids dealing with this aggression. So imagine the kids out there that are living in fear because their old man, their old mom, is abusing them. And the cops come and do nothing. That's your justice system. When kids have to sit in trauma, it's not good. It's not good. Nobody should have to sit and deal with that. If there's a call for abuse, these fucks need to be in jail. And there needs to be better protection for people experiencing domestic abuse. It's your liberal fucking pervert policy and your catch and release bullshit. It's not just about the perverts. It's about the physical abuse too that's going on at home. And nothing's getting done, and women can't get out, and men can't get out. So, anybody not fighting for the safety, it's quite apparent all these perverts are bringing in pervert rules. And this fuck that killed his girlfriend shouldn't have got out because of his fucking race. When I filled out all my ODSP papers, they asked me every fucking which way till fucking Sunday to figure out if I was white. And there's no help. And right now, there's no help for seniors looking for fucking housing. The lineup for senior housing is fucking unreal. So there'll be more fucking seniors out on the street, you dumb fucks. If we keep bringing in and we don't start deporting, there's no housing already for people, you dipshits. Fuck. I'm reading these comments about Giggly Gary, our public safety minister, who's out there. They're going to try. We already have hate speech laws in Canada. We don't need more laws. They're trying to shut us up. No more God and people like me going to go to jail. I'm not kidding you fucks. And this fuck's on here talking, he's giggling. And I had to watch him for 10 fucking minutes. And then I thought you guys are going to see Giggly fucking Gary too. This is the comments. 8 shares, 749 views. Let's share this more, guys, because Giggly Gary's got to go. Denise says, bloody chipmunk. Yeah, he's got all our nuts in his fucking mouth, doesn't he? Ken says, what a clown show. Dennis says, they need money to fight against extortion. That's why they gave the Jewish community $10 million protection money. Joseph says, does he know what a Canadian is? Because he looks like he just arrived here. He did just arrive here. You're right. And he writes letters to terrorists. And he's our public fucking safety minister, yo. And our health minister's from Haiti. Yesterday I put her on live. If I catch her later, I'll make sure I put her on. Hopefully she talks English so you can hear how fucking stupid she sounds. And I've been a part of the healthcare system my whole fucking life. And I demand excellence, which is why I'm without a fucking doctor. My previous doctor I've had for years. I wouldn't take my Cadillac to a shady fucking mechanic. I know who I want monkeying around with this fucking vessel, and I know who I don't. And if you're going to see me without, you're not touching this fucking vessel, and I'm fucking full steam ahead. Last time I checked, you could get a fucking different opinion. And I'm old enough to even know when fucking doctors made house calls. I'm not goddamn Little House on the Prairie old, but I'll tell you, I had a fucking doctor that called, and you called him and he said, bring him up to the house. Meet me at the clinic after hours, you fucks. I'm that fucking old, so yeah, I demand excellence, bitch. Something on my mouth. All the shit I talk. Okay. James says, lipstick on a pig does not change the swine. Herbie says, Muslims in government not born here shouldn't be allowed. You're right. Since April's rigged election last year, 2025, we have a shit ton of new Canadians. Let's hope they're not the terrorists and illegals in here. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean, sweethearts? We've let in criminals, terrorists, and illegals. Let's hope that these people I'm showing you aren't illegals. Fucking retards. And I don't use that word much, but I'm so fucking mad at the level of fucking stupid. Jerry Laura says, what a joke this guy is. Wally says, fucking squirrel. Lockyer says, just another brain dead liberal. Brenda says, why not? There's 300,000 civil servants just waiting to serve our country. Laughing my fucking ass off. Jared from Newfoundland, I remember you. We talked that one morning. I was working the graveyard shift. He says her last name is Shuda. And it was the one girl I pointed out in the video that I said I think she wasn't born in Canada because there's so many. I had already talked about her and forgot her fucking name. And I said something there. Jared says, fucking chipmunk, fucking retard, go back to Sri Lanka. Yeah, exactly. Sri Lanka. And I said, maybe send the fucking terrorists home, you stupid fucks. And then whatever my other comments were. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for sharing. And thank you to the people that are paying the fuck attention to what's going on. Pitter patter. It's time to get out there, okay? Put the House of Commons on. I'm watching these goddamn Bloc Quebecois fucks. And I'm about ready to start calling them. And I might brush up on my accent and my French. Yeah, bonjour. I'm wondering what you tabernacles do? Oui, oui.